Well, there's absolutely no way to get around it. The San Francisco 49ers lost to the Arizona Cardinals. Whew, that was a tough one. It was really, really bad. But I have seen some shots. I don't even know if they're called shots, but I have seen some criticism of Brock Purdy's play in that game. And while granted, no one's play in that game was perfect, I really didn't come away from that game thinking that Brock was the reason they lost or thinking that he had a bad game. It wasn't his best game. It wasn't as good as a game that he had against the Patriots, but I also didn't think it was terrible. He definitely had some plays where you want to have back. He did have two interceptions, but I think both of those interceptions are explainable. But we'll explain them in a second. Baldy breaks it down and he asks the question, what should Brock do? Where should he go with the ball once you get into the tape? Take a look at.
Let's play a game. Okay, let's call it what should Brock do? All right, like let's watch this play right here. Like right now, the little fake right here, and Brock right here is ready to throw. Now, nobody's open anywhere. All right, he's looking right. So he steps up. Nobody's open. Nobody's separating. So now Brock's got to do something, and he ends up scrambling for a couple yards. At least he didn't lose yards. All right, here we go. Now, next series. Deep, like here it is. Like right here, Brock is ready to throw. And he throws Aiyuk open. Nice job at the top of his route to separate. And then he gets busy. Now, here they go. Here comes the Cardinals. They're emptying the bucket right here. What should Brock do? He's ready to throw. He knows the blitz is coming. Does anybody else know the blitz is coming? He's got to make a decision. What should Brock do? All right, let's buy some time. All right, is anybody going to get open here? Anybody? Anybody going to separate? That'll look good. All right, here we go. Now you get this. All right, here we go. Red zone. The only red zone score they had all day. 1 for 6. But fortunately, Kittle saw it the same way that Purdy saw it. We used to call this just the old tight end pop pass. Bam. Like Jalen Thompson backs up, he gives it up. All right, they got success there. Then watch this right here. You want to watch Aiyuk and why he's dangerous and why he's getting on right now. Like right here, Brock sets his feet and he's throwing it. Now watch Aiyuk right here. All right, the defensive back Sean Murphy punting it. Murphy bunting is right there. Watch him from the top of like his ability to separate at the top of his route separates him. All right, now here we go. Total control of the game, right? Total control of the game, top of the third quarter. All right, Purdy steps up. What should he do? Well, he sees Kittle open. All right, Lopez gets a hand in the air, bam. Cardinals are diving for it. All right, there's Mac Wilson, interception. What should Brock Purdy do? Like sometimes you just have to ask in this game, like where was the open receiver if he wasn't throwing Aiyuk open? Is the 31-year-old defensive coordinator of the Cardinals. Kyle Shanahan's been doing this a long time. Minute 16 to go, Niners down by a point. Look at this blitz. Barnes, Jalen Thompson, all coming off the edge. The Niners can block 3. They can't block 4. Brock thinks he's protected on the backside, and Jalen Thompson, bam, the hit. The ball's popped up. It's up in Levi heaven somewhere. And down comes Kazir White, diving for it. Game, set, match. Cardinals go to the big Levi and come up with the shock. But they made the plays. All those guys, Lucetta, Kazir White, Buda Baker. Like, look at the party. Look at the dancing. Look at the celebration. Did they win the Super Bowl? Did they win the World Series? Who cares? They found a way to win. That's all that matters right there. That's a big day. That's a big deal.
So as you can see, just from these handful of clips that Baldy pulled, there's not a lot of separation. There's not a lot of people getting open. Brock's having to scramble, do a bunch of different things. And to be honest, it's been kind of a theme, I guess you will. I mean, obviously, Brandon Aiyuk had a phenomenal day. He didn't seem like he was having too many issues separating as he had his breakout performance of the year. He looked like the Brandon Aiyuk that we had all come to expect. But again, you could see he was having some issues elsewhere. And you look at the 2 interceptions that he had. One was a defensive line tip. And again, it's very rare that Brock gets tipped at the line of scrimmage, even considering how, short of stature he is. He has a really good ability to get the ball over these defenders. We watch it on tape all the time. So to me, this is more of an outlier than anything else. Again, we have addressed it so many times on tape of his ability to get that ball over the outstretched hands of these defensive linemen that it's a literal skill when he does it so consistently. So he got on this one. All right, you tip your cap to the Cardinals. They got him on this one. I'm not concerned about it moving forward because he hasn't given me a reason to be concerned about it. And then also too on the, on the play where they're able to get in there and they get the hit on him and the ball goes up in the air and it turns into an interception, a game ceiling interception. You know, he got hit as he was throwing it. Like I don't know. Again, it wasn't anyone's best performance on the day outside of Brandon Aiyuk. I think we can all actually say Brandon Aiyuk had a phenomenal day, and there were good plays to be had, but it all boiled down to the mistakes that the 49ers had down the stretch on offense, on defense, issues with special teams. Obviously, you lose your kicker to injury that impacts going for it in certain situations, right? Where they had to go for it on a fourth down, which would typically be 3 points on the board. And that's the difference in the game. And, you know, it, I'm not chalking it up to one specific thing. I think that's part of, the double-edged sword of after a loss, everyone trying to find the game-changing play that really impacted, or the guy who made the big error, like JP's fumble. And yeah, there were plays that happened, but I really do believe that the issues that we saw play out against the Cardinals were much bigger than individual performance, much bigger than losing the turnover battle and things like that. We had 3 players come out and say that it was a weird loss. That's exactly how I felt too. My first reaction was this wasn't about getting outplayed. This wasn't about it was something different to this game. And again, the hope is that it's a one-off. This is where we get into a little bit interesting territory when a season starts developing, right? Because you're trying to figure out the identity of your team. That's a real thing inside locker rooms. Trying, like, are we a hard-nosed team? Are we a grinder? Are we a physical team? You heard Kittle talking about that. Got to get back to being a physical team, running the football, things like that, beating you at the line of scrimmage. And it feels like they're lacking an identity, or the identity that's starting to develop is one that you don't want to have, of a team that can't finish. Because you look at the 2 losses that they had against both the Rams and Cardinals, which will come back to bite them later on in the year. But as it stands right now, those are just 2 games that you had won. You had them in the bag. You had 10-point leads in both of them in the fourth quarter, and you let them both slip away in almost identical fashion. Obviously, in how it happened was different, but the slippage was about the same, and the feeling of it. And that, to me, is the concern. Not the individual plays, the individual execution injuries. Obviously, yes, you can get in there and you can correct those things. Like, that's why I don't harp on execution all that much, is because if you can prove that you can do it, it's just about being consistent when it matters most. Yeah, you got to do that, but you can fix those things. Those are correctable. Those are trends that you could get back on track. The trends that are concerning are too having 2 10-point leads melt away in the fourth quarter. Those are the concerning things, and that's a team thing. That's coaching. That's head coach, defensive coordinator, down to execution, down to pulling the right levers at the right time. So that, to me, is like, again, that's what these days are after a loss. It's like a post-mortem of, like, why did this team die this way? So although it's, I know a lot of people are emotional about it, and it wasn't a good way to go out. I'm less concerned about, like, Brock's play. I'm less concerned about some of these other things, like Jordan Mason fumbling. It was an unfortunate timed fumble and an unfortunate moment. I'm less concerned about those things. I think he'll do a good job maintaining the ball. It's the totality. The totality of the loss is where I have my concern, if that makes sense. But you let me know. What do you guys think? What's your kind of assessment? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.